Good afternoon. Welcome to Tune In Tuesdays. Happy April 1st, April Fool's Day. I'm Cindy Gross. Just kidding, April Fools. I am Teresa Helfrich from the America First Warehouse. This is Cindy's slot here on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And her show, Right for America, Issues That Ignite, Don't Unite, is usually here in our studio on Tuesdays. But today we bring you a very special edition live with the patriot, the Jewess patriot, Cindy Gross, who is live from her kitchen in Queens, New York. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for having me, but it's issues that unite, don't ignite.
Did I
And
just
there's
say that
nothing,
wrong?
okay, because there is nothing that unites people more than food.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter what political party, where you live, how old you are, what religion you follow, what culture you believe in. Because let's face it, a Chinese wonton is probably no similar different in a lot of ways than an Italian ravioli, a
Right.
Jewish kreplach, a Polish
Pierogi. Yep.
pierogi, a Russian pierogi. So there's nothing better that unites us. Chicken soup is, the best medicine in any religion,
Sure
in
is.
any culture.
And like we said, I'm Italian, so what I told you yesterday on the phone, you get hurt, your grandmother wants to feed you. You're happy, they want to feed you. You're sad, they want to feed you. You're depressed, they want to feed you. So enter my weight problems the rest my whole life. But yes, food does unite
Join the
everybody.
club. So many of you, as the Jewish advisor for the America First Warehouse, and pretty much one of the major Jewish voices
Yes.
there, one of the major Jewish Trump voices already for three different campaigns and two different tenures in office. I could tell you that everybody knows, and they always feel like the religious Jews come out and support Trump, which they do, as well as most Israelis. And so that I get asked so many questions, including from yours truly sitting at my desk today.
Yes. Everybody wants to know.
I remember a couple months ago, I came in and made challah for you guys because you always ask me about what is challah and what it's about. And I really started all my blogging, all my work starting articles actually during Passover with the holidays because I am known in certain circles as the Jewish Sandra Lee,
Um,
and I'm known for my entertaining, and I've been entertaining friends and family a long time. I There is nothing that I love more than watching people enjoy the food, the drinks, the ambiance, the decor, the tablescapes.
the
I
music, the
love it.
readings, right? There's so much to that. And I really love, I want to
I'm
tell
not even
the,
going into that, but we'll go into the meanings of a lot of things because you asked me a lot of questions, and so do many people. Joe the Box always asks me questions. So tell me a little bit, first of all, as a non-Jewish uh, person who lives in an area that it's not really hard to get, kosher food and stuff like that in our communities. You see it all over our supermarkets. What do you know about Passover, and what do you think about it?
well, I was very fortunate to be invited to some, very many actually, Jewish holidays, which I love. And, I find Passover obviously is extremely, biblical. And it was a celebration, right? When the Israelites, it was the Exodus from Egypt, right? That it was?
Correct.
From, yes. So I lived in a very prominent Jewish area, prominently Jewish area, predominantly for a long time. And I got to know a lot more about the culture, especially when my young son, who was allergic to dairy, I was learned very early on that we could go to Jewish bakeries and that they didn't use dairy in their products. And we lived in very Jewish neighborhood, and it was lovely to be able to see the other experience the other holidays. I brought my kids to them so they can learn more about other holidays too. And like you said, in the grocery stores, maybe some people don't know that there's different sections and why, because it's blessed, correct, by a rabbi for the
It's
kosher
watched
items.
over a rabbi, and I'm just going to put in some notes here as you're going on because you're doing a great job. First of all, when you said that things were kosher and not kosher, my house is a kosher home. I have dairy area, a meat area, what we call a parve area for like fish or things that I cut up, salads. But then comes Passover. In my house, I change over everything. We have different sets of dishes, pots. And as you see in stores, there are sections that are kosher for Passover because depending on where your origins are, like I am Ashkenazic Eastern European Jews, we don't eat bread or anything leavened. We don't eat legumes like rice and beans. However, there's a group called Sephardic or more Middle Eastern Jews that come from Africa that do eat that.
Mm.
But overall, most of us do not eat bread depending of how religious you are. You also just said something. I just want to make a very important disclaimer here, like on my shows all the time. The views of this show, especially kosher views, are not the views of you or me. I'm only sharing what I know and practice. I'm not telling anybody else. I do two seders. Some people just do one. I do read the entire book, which is called the Haggadah. Some people just maybe make the prayers on the 4 glasses of wine and eat the dinner. I am not here to judge anybody, neither is Teresa.
Not at all.
And the idea of Passover for us is a gathering. It's remembering the freedom of the Jews of slavery. They're leaving the Exodus and how they left, the story of Moses. I mean, many of you watch the Ten Commandments over and over again. It's still one of those movies
Yep.
you still watch every year, regardless if you've seen it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times.
Absolutely.
And you watch it with the next generation. Although that's Hollywood, people have an idea of what that story was about: the 10 plagues, the frogs, the blood, the splitting of the Red Sea. And
And the generational thing that you said is so important because, like, just for the audience to know, I talked to Cindy a lot. And when you had your young grandson here, not too long ago, you had sent me some pictures and you were in the kitchen with him, teaching him the Jewish culture and traditions and keeping that, those are memories he'll have forever, which absolutely love. And when you spoke about unleavened bread and, I guess for desserts, one of the little funny stories, when I did go to a Passover that I was invited to, I went to the bakery. This was the heaviest cake I ever held in my life. They're so heavy when they're not, they don't have flour in them, right? The Jewish
depends,
desserts.
because a lot of them are very light. I'm going to talk a little bit about desserts and how really, I guess, MAGA or MAHA friendly we are, because we don't use a lot of preservatives. I mean, I'll give you a great example. If you know the people that are black hat called Chabad, you see Chabad all around, because every time somebody, you see, like President Trump went to a Rebbe's grave, that is Chabad.
Okay.
Other elected officials went to the Rebbe's grave, that is Chabad. Chabad doesn't even use any condiments, so they make their own
Wow.
homemade mayonnaise, homemade ketchup. They don't use garlic bulbs. So I mean, it's a holiday people either want to love or hate, and for me, I love it. First of all, if you're on a kind of a keto diet, which is protein and vegetables and fruits and potatoes, if you eat like the whole foods with it's the best diet for you, because you are eating a lot of eggs, a lot of cheese, a lot of meat, a lot of fish,
Mm.
loads of great salads. I mean, I love to prepare. I have big crowds at my Seder, and we do a whole buffet of different salads, from an eggplant salad, an Israeli
Mm.
salad, a chunky guacamole salad, red cabbage, raisin salad,
Yum.
broccoli, cashew salad. I mean,
I'm getting
there's
hungry just
endless
listening to you.
possibilities. So there's so many varieties. In fact, I took out, and I have a huge cookbook collection, but it's such a popular holiday. There's even cookbooks just for Passover.
Love.
This, you know, there are endless Passover books that are, I mean,
It's
every
awesome.
kosher chef makes them. And a lot of, I mean, in 2017, I was what was called the Aisha Skaya Woman of the Year at the National Council of Young Israel dinner. and we're over 800 people there, and they gave out this kosher cook, and I was a member of the year
Oh, I love
because that
that.
was the year it came out.
Wait, so tell me again what that name was that started with the A, and explain. Can you explain what that is? The what type of?
Aisha style, it's the woman of valor. It's
Wow, I
part of
love that.
the Songs of Solomon. And Jewish men actually say that prayer at the beginning of the Sabbath to their, excuse me,
Oh, I love that to their wife. That's
to
beautiful.
their wives. And they also bless their children on Friday night, right before
Beautiful.
they make Kiddush,
That's beautiful.
the prayer and the wine. So Judaism is actually the religion that actually honors women more than any other religion. And we could talk about that. It's a whole other the show discussion, but it's very interesting.
It is, and it's great to learn more about it.
So let's get into the first ideas about some of the foods.
Well,
Uh,
so before
I
you do that, I just want to ask
okay.
you with the cookbooks that you have. I'm assuming every Passover you have your standards that you make. I would imagine traditional foods that your family normally likes, and
I'm
then
gonna share with you one traditional now, and then one trendy one
I was
now.
gonna that's perfect. I was gonna say, and then do you try to one out of the books? That's awesome. I'm all
Well,
ears.
I always make a traditional brisket, and I think you guys might have a picture of it.
I'm
There's
coming
always,
over. Control.
and
Can
I
you show her
always make
brisket?
a traditional.
I don't.
I make a traditional turkey breast. I have some. I have friends who are on low salt diets and stuff, and we use a lot of um, onion, paprika, different. So I make a basic turkey breast.
Mm,
We also use a lot of matzah.
one of my
One of
favorites.
my favorite my first childhood memory that I always remember, I was probably about 2 years old, was preparing with my grandparents Passover. And in those days, everybody stayed up all night and did everything by hand. I still have
Wow,
meat grinder that my grandmother had kosher for Passover. And
that's
my
awesome.
grandfather, may he rest in peace,
Yes,
he actually used to do work with Horowitz and Margaretten, and we used to go up to Horowitz and Margaretten and get all the kosher for Passover matzahs and matzah meal, and they didn't have all the things they have now. It was a simple. People basically made everything from scratch. But of course, the number one is matzah.
mm,
And today you see loads of varieties of matzah. You see Israeli matzah, you see American matzah, you see matzah crackers. Now this year it's unique. I guess I should have brought it. I have to be careful because my house is not kosher for Passover. So I am limited on what I could show you because I can't open and close things. So once I have many things that he had closed, but because it's Saturday night, most people are going to have their houses ready kosher for Passover, but we're not allowed to eat matzah before we make the prayer. So a lot of
mm.
people are going to use Friday night because it's a Sabbath and we have to make the motzi or the prayer, blessing the bread. We're going to use egg matzah that's not leavened the same way. So it's not the same, it's made with grape juice.
Wow.
But very, very religious people, and I'm not saying I'm very religious, but I do use this. I'm going to show you. We use what's called shmura matzah, and it has to be baked within 18 minutes.
Oh, never heard of that myself. I don't think.
So it's very flat.
Are
It's
they
very
round?
crunchy. It's round,
Wow, different.
and some people only eat shmura matzah during the holiday. Then they don't even eat this one. And then we have different laws, which are depending on what section of Europe you came from, or your ancestors, where they eat things like some people don't eat matzo balls, and people associate Passover with matzo balls. But I'm making something now for you that people see, you know, in old Jewish delis, and sometimes in an old Jewish movie, and it's I there are so many different ways to make it, and my family's favorite way. We are more savory than sweet. I made this morning
Mm,
a lox, eggs, and onions matzo bride.
yum.
See it? First, I fry onions. I put in the lox, and then I add in the basic base for a matzo bride. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show the audience here how we make a matzo bride. Now this is, you could do this so many ways. The best thing about a matzo ball, like I made it in a pancake form, but now I'm going to make it in like a scrambled egg form. So this way, if you don't want to have to worry about having it flat, cut like a pizza, and you don't want to have to worry about how pretty it looks, you can get away with it.
It's
But there is
awesome.
something very key about this. First of all, you take your matzah and you have to make your matzah wet. And because I'm doing this the first time on TV or videoing it, it's going to be a little different. Usually I just take it to my sink. I'm going to put some water in here. It can't get super crazy absorbed that it's too wet, so you have to watch it. So watch
That's
what
so
I'm doing.
interesting. I love this.
Now it's wet and it's going to soak in, but it's not going to lose its shape, so it's so saggy. So I'm doing this a couple of minutes and turning it around.
I might try this weekend. Is that okay? Am I allowed to try this?
But I'm going to make this version. A lot of people make it sweet with, I'm going to make a chocolate chip one so that if you have kids in your house, it's a great way to get kids to eat matzah, and it depends how much you want to put egg in it.
That's great.
So it's getting to that point, and I'm going to just fill out my water, and I'm going to crunch it down. And you just crunch it down.
Oh,
But you want it into pieces. I really should be using gloves, but
but that's all right because you're at home and this is a
by
demonstration.
the way, here's the best tip in any kitchen, Passover or not. Start with a clean kitchen. As you're going,
Yes.
continually clean, and then clean it again afterwards. Um, I'm one of those people that I won't eat in many people's houses unless I know how clean
Me
their
too.
house is.
I'm very clean when I cook, especially for other people.
Okay, so I'm putting that to the side. And I'm crunching it up. And now I'm going to show you something very, very, very important.
And this is a breakfast. Is this a
You can
breakfast dish?
You can eat it breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You could use it as a main dish. A lot of times when I make something like this, I do it with an appetizer, with a salad.
Mm,
I sometimes put in a grilled salami,
yum.
pastrami, and corned beef and make it as an appetizer before the main course.
Ooh, I love that.
I mean, now I always use 1 cup like this, but we as Jews are not allowed to eat a blood of an egg. So we have to use, and this one I nearly need like 3 eggs. These are extra large, so I'm using 3 eggs. Basically, 1 egg per matzah. Or if you're using, let's say, 6 pieces of matzah, you could probably get away with 5 eggs. So we have to do this one at a time to make sure there's no stain, because once it's stained, it means a chicken was there and it's blood and it's dead, and we don't eat stuff like that. So then this one is fine.
It's a delicacy, eggs right now. Those are like the hot commodity, very expensive item.
So I
And you just
must
wrote a
say,
good article about that, right?
kosher, yes, I did. The kosher supermarkets are in competition for business, and it was amazing. One had it $2.99 a dozen. One had it 3 hours, $1.99 a
Oh,
dozen.
that's good.
So
I usually make
I
my
actually
kids,
have 19 dozen eggs.
you stock up while you can. I usually make my kids dye eggs, even though they're big kids now. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe this year we'll skip the eggs.
Well, thank you for reading my article in Newsmax.
Of course.
Here's the second egg.
I'm going to try this. It's funny, while you're doing that, Cindy, I'll tell a quick story. I did a 3-day fast last year that was suggested to me by a pastor and a minister separately from each other. And I heeded the advice, said, okay, God's trying to give me a message. I'll do the fasting. And I chose to do it on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the one thing they said, if you get really hungry, you can eat matzah, leavened, right? Am I saying that right?
Unleavened.
Unleavened matzah.
Here's what it's going to look like. Can you see?
Oh, yeah. So you're getting it's thickening up like a consistency.
Thickening up the consistency, and you go around it. My family, we like crunch. We're not. Some people like it mushy, and they really make it very small pieces. We don't. I mean, but this is all up to your taste. This is why it's also so much fun. It's a lot of people eat this for breakfast with cinnamon, sugar, and jelly. Some people make it flat and make it like a matzo brie pizza. Like
like
they
you
make
showed.
like I made with this, and then you see this instead of making it with lox eggs, they use this as like the base and top it with pizza sauce and mozzarella cheese.
I was gonna say it's like the
And
Jewish pizza crust.
exactly, you took the words right out of my
Mm.
mouth. This is really mixing nicely. Another couple of minutes so it's all soaked in. You want it wet, but you don't want it soaking. That's the secret. If you make it too soggy, it becomes scrambled eggs.
Oh, this looks cool. So really quick, just so I did the fast, right? And they said to
Uh-huh.
me, "Oh, you can eat the unleavened matzah." So I said, "They go, it's kind of boring." I said, "I love matzah. I'm fine with that." And then I did end up caving a little bit that Saturday, and I had a little bit of matzah. And I want to tell you, it tasted like gold that day because I had been fasting. But I love that. I want to try this recipe. Maybe I'll
Here's
video.
another hint. We are allowed to use avocado oil. We don't use seed oils.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Peanut. So I use all year round anyway, avocado oil, and as long as it has the supervision and olive oil. So for me, that's another, another little health tip. I mean, I always say God, God has reasons for making us like this.
Sure does. Now,
And
avocado oil has been more common in recent years. Did you always use that, or
well, we used to use peanut oil, but they changed that, and
it's
not
healthier?
peanut oil, safflower oil, because we can't use peanuts because peanuts are a legume.
That's
Now I'm
right.
gonna heat this up, and then we're just gonna let it, and we could decide whatever we want. We might make this a plain matzo bread. You could put it. There are endless possibilities. I might just make this plain scrambled, and because no one in my house is gonna eat a chocolate chip one, but
Yum.
we bought kosher pants of the chocolate chips. People put in cinnamon and sugar. I mean, there's endless choices what you want.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you could do. And now this one I'm going to show it in a scrambled version.
This was a great one to show because it's so versatile. Like,
Correct. And you really can't do anything. Even the more it's soaking in, the more you let it sit, the better it's going to taste. Some people in my house, I don't use a lot of salt, but people do put salt and pepper in it. Also, another big thing about my holiday, I should tell you, and I should probably go this way to show you. I don't know if you can see it or not.
not really, but we'll listen if you want to explain it.
And we don't have smell-o-vision.
I know, right? I want taste vision. I think next time I come there in person so I could taste test this stuff.
I think so. So anyway, it's also a holiday where we use loads of fresh herbs and vegetables.
Yum.
I buy loads of dill. Dill's my favorite. In fact, I have dill on top of the lox and onion one.
I love
Fresh
dill.
dill. We use a lot of fresh mint in our salads and our spices and seasonings. Uh, both kinds of parsley we use, cilantro, you name it. Loads of leeks are used. In fact, leeks are on our Seder. I can't show you my Seder plates because this pot's not kosher for Passover.
I just
And
love
once
that
it's taken,
it's such a good like tradition and how like seriously it's taken and it's a beautiful thing.
it's a great family time. I mean, I'm having family. We happen to have a group of friends. So far, I'm having 16 both nights. And I happen to be having four divorced men. I mean, usually you have four divorced women. I'm having
Oh,
four.
wait a minute. Did this show just take a whole nother turn, Cindy? Are we gonna try to find four single Jewish women for these men at your Passover? Hold on, we just turned into a dating game.
No, but we have a group, and this is part of the group. And the biggest mitzvah or the good deed you can do is invite somebody to
Yes.
pass, Shabbos to any of them who needs a meal and is alone, so that
That's
nobody should
beautiful.
be alone.
That's
So we
beautiful.
try to do that. That's something we could do in my house
Do I
very
tell the
easy.
audience to email us here if they are interested in a single Jewish bachelor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've made 11 marriages.
Oh, look at she does everything. That's awesome.
So it's cooking up. I'm going to take this off just for you to see a little bit. I'm trying to.
Yep,
You
we
see,
can see that now. Okay, so it does look like scrambled. That's wild. That's
I'm
awesome.
sprinkling this one so you can see the difference in the flat versus the scrambled. Okay?
That's awesome. I'm intrigued. I never heard of this
I
before.
am going to put in a little bit of salt though, because it won't need it.
Who's this one for? Is this for Peter?
No,
No, for
no, we're
you.
going out. We have an engagement party today. We're going out.
Oh, you and that's the other thing. You always have quite the schedule of good festivities.
Right before Passover because it's counting of the Omer. I mean, everybody's getting married and engaged because they can't do it for like a month.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. See, these are all great things for people to know.
And it's cooking, and I'm going to lower the heat so I can talk to you a little bit as it's cooking. But this one's coming out like a hash.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's
The
what. Yeah,
potato hash, it's a matzo bar hash, so you can see the two versions.
I love
And
that.
it's really very versatile. And there is gluten-free matzah. You can make it gluten-free.
It's great.
And I mean, it's just very easy. A few years ago, because we don't eat pasta or anything, we were told we could have quinoa. So if it
Oh,
has an OUP, can you see? I don't know, can you see it now? Yeah, now I
yep, I
can.
see that.
Okay, this is what we look for on our food. A P next to it. Now, this is a gluten-free family's best friend. I know people who aren't Jewish who go to the kosher for Passover sections because they know it's there. This is one of them, potato starch, because it's just made from potatoes and the starch. And we do a
Excellent.
lot of bake. I make homemade crackers for entertaining with this.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think I sent you some pictures.
We do. We'll give cue those up.
My matzo ball is coming out. Oh, it's perfect. It's ready.
That was fast too.
What?
That was a fast. It was fast too.
It's very fast, but I had on a highlight. And look, I'm still talking to you. So, what other questions would you like to ask me about Passover?
Well, so I know you just mentioned looking for the P on the products, that you're buying in the store. So that's for the parv, right?
No, parm is totally different. That's for the Passover.
Okay, and then there's K. The
Parm is a
K.
whole. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Parm is something that's not dairy and it's not meat, and you could eat it with either. Fish is parm.
Got it.
Eggs are parm. However, you cannot eat fish and meat on the same exact plate.
Oh. Okay. I knew. Okay. I didn't know that.
At one time, chicken was parm, but it is no longer. It's now considered meat.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that either.
a couple minutes to cool down, and I'll put it on a plate. Usually, I would show. Here's a secret I do with my entertaining. Let's talk a little bit about entertaining. I collect like matzo plates, and I use those as my entertaining plates.
Oh, it's like a little charcuterie almost.
Not really, because I use them for cake.
Oh,
I'm actually making one out of charcuterie, because it's so the Sadists start after like 8:30, so no one wants soup in our house. So we
got it.
want some charcuterie salads, chicken, roast, turkey, meatball dish. I make a meatball sausage, just like sausage and peppers, and I add meatballs in it. Um,
I love that.
and then I bake. I'm going to talk a little bit about. I want to show you something. These are close, so I'll show it to you. I'm very big into my tablescapes, and
One of my
usually
favorite parts of holidays.
I use usually China and all that. But as everybody has given in, and it's too many people, and because it starts on Saturday night, and I can't use dishwashers or anything like that that's electric, I am going to cave into my paper. But I am actually one night I'm going to save for my guests. But one night this is going to be my placemats and my
Oh, how cute. Love.
and we're very lucky because we can get it in my neighborhood. It's competitive. And when my grandson comes, the first plague is frogs, and you're going to see a load of frog toys and frog puzzles and frog stuffed animals. So he's going to use his frog napkins.
Is that because that's what he loves, or is that tied into the traditions of some sort?
The first plague that there were loads of frogs when Moses went to Pharaoh and he said, if you don't let my people go, God's going to put plagues. The first one was, was frogs.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Actually, no, it wasn't. It was blood. Then was
The
frogs.
frogs. I didn't know that. That's
All
very
the
cool.
kids love the frogs.
Yeah, no, I saw that in the one in your
They,
tablescape picture.
yeah. I mean, there were locusts, darkness, and of course, the last one was the death of the firstborn, which is how we got the name Passover, because they put blood on the doors.
Doors, right? Yes, that I knew.
That's right.
And
So
it oh,
our matzo ball is now complete, and I'm going to 1 minute. Answer your question why you don't see me.
well, I was gonna have you when you come back though, but when I wanted to take the audience through like your process now because I do know, as you said, you're gonna kind of convert the kitchen over, which I always found so interesting, and I very much respect that.
But
Um,
here's another, and you can see this feeds a lot of people, so
it
you could
does.
use it and serve it like a side dish instead of rice.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Now, besides stovetop, like, would you ever bake that?
I do it on the stove top.
That's
I guess you can bake it actually, but I don't. I use my oven so much anyway. So you want to know about the cleaning up process, which for most people probably take 2 to 3 weeks. Um, I start like the day after Purim. I make my list.
oh, is Purim that
The
close
month
to this?
before, it's exactly 1 month apart.
Okay.
And basically, what is involved in that is, first of all, I have cabinets that are totally for Passover ready. So I don't have my dishes. I have glass dishes, and some of my pots are all already in different areas. I have it, section. I have it. Most people who do this year after year after year have it kind of
A
organized.
system. Yeah.
And it's a bit, you know what else? It forces you to do your spring
It
cleaning.
sure
For
does.
example, I cleaned up by my windowsills, and I moved the furniture and we double wash the fireplace, and we go through the cabinets. It's just a great time to do spring
It
cleaning.
is.
You're tired and it's heavy and it's physical, but you
It's
do it.
worth
But
it.
once you get it done, it starts. Most of my non-perishables are already bought and they're already placed on my kosher for Passover shelves. I bought plastic shelves and I wash them and I line them with aluminum foil.
That's amazing. My friends used to bring it all downstairs. They had like almost a second kitchen, and they would kind of
A
can
lot of people do have
yeah.
second kitchens. I don't have that, but I do have shelves for the area and everything. And then as right now I am in the shape that I have to get my perishables, my fruits and vegetables, and some of the meats and stuff. But otherwise, all the packaged stuff. If we have time, I was going to start. I have an amazing newish kind of recipe that I made last year. I'll be honest with you. It's from Sivan's Kitchen. It's the almond cookies. I think you have a picture of it on our promo, but you should have it anyway. This is a baker's best friend during Passover, almond flour. And it really is a gluten-free person's best friend
That's
all year.
awesome.
And it's also a lot of diets now are telling you not to eat the flours and to use just the almonds. This is 100% pure skinless almonds. And it also has, now this is a different kosher certification. It's CRC, which is also a very good one. But it also has a little P by it. So you know it's a Passover.
And so I know we didn't finish that before, but so the kosher items are always blessed a blessing by a
It
rabbi.
has to have what's called rabbinical supervision. I'm
Okay.
not going to get into the Hebrew words and all that.
I know it's a lot.
That's right. There is a VAD. There's a group of rabbis. That is their profession to make sure that the meats, the fishes, everything is watched. We have to be very careful with things like broccoli and strawberries for bugs, which is very funny because that's become an issue in the pesticide world of Robert
Oh,
F. Kennedy Jr. It's become a very big topic mainstream, but Orthodox Jews have that issue all year round for decades.
it's amazing. I know even my dad worked at a catering hall here on Long Island for many years, and they had a whole separate kitchen. It was a whole kitchen where only the rabbis went into. it was, and it was great. They did to be able to honor that. But I've learned a lot by default, learning as I go.
So I could have sworn I sent it in. Maybe I didn't. If we have time, I could show you the start of it. If not, it's a very most of my recipes for baking. I'm more of a cook than a baker, although I have learned how to really perfect my challah.
Oh, yes, you
It
have. I ate that whole loaf like in an hour meeting after she left it here. It was delicious.
But so I also people that tend to come to my house. I have big drinkers, which that would be our next segment about all the wines and everything. It's a very big time to drink. So I don't really. Everybody says to me they like a cookie. I buy ices. The only things I really do buy Passover that I don't make ice cream ices.
Mm,
Once in a blue moon, a soup. Otherwise, I basically make everything from
that's
scratch.
great. That's great. There used to
Um,
be a Jewish bakery by me where I live. They since closed. It was actually called Pearls, believe it or not. And we don't know when you
I
talk
know
about your
I said
pearls.
it, but they probably weren't open for Passover.
No, well, no, they weren't. I had a pre-order, and that's where I got the heavy flourless cake from. And I'll let you. I wanted you to get to your dessert, but I'll tell you I have a funny story for the end also. But
Let's tell a story because I'm going to go see if we have time. I could start this and at least show you because I'm not going to really have time to do the whole thing. I'm just
okay,
going because it does take time. I like to. So this, I'll just give you the idea of what you need: almond flour, sugar, almond extract, large eggs, and sliced raw almonds. And if you want, you can melt chocolate chips and
drizzle
design
it in.
chocolate over it.
Sounds delicious.
Or what I did last year, I took two cookies and I made it like a sandwich cookie and I filled it with some jelly.
That sounds. I'm coming over next week. I'm just gonna show up.
It's close so I could share it. This comes from Israel. I guess it's like our Nutella, but it's 400% better. And this is parva. It's kosher for Passover. And you put this in it.
I'm going to buy some of that. I love Nutella, so I'm
It
gonna
is
trust you.
the best. So you can make sandwich cookies like that. I wish that we could get the picture up of the cookies I sent to you. But all right, we'll share. We'll make sure to get
Was
them
one of
up.
them cookies? I don't know if I got cookies. Let's see. I could tell the
I could have
boys.
sworn otherwise, I could send it to them right now. Because
I
I'll
know
show them.
one looked like a chocolate with
Let me see. You know what? I'm just going to send them a picture of the
I should have
cookies.
named it for them. I apologize, fellas up in the control room. I didn't name
There were
the
a couple of dishes with cookies, I'm sure. Okay, let me see if I could send it.
it might be the one with the
Yes, it has multi cookies
Yep.
on that.
You could try that one. That one is
Try that one, and I'm going to show the no. This one it was that's something I bought. I made this as a centerpiece because people ask about Seder plates and what the representation is, and this is great. This is one of my tables. So what it represents, we have on here lettuce, we have bitter herbs, fresh horseradish for the tears of the Jews suffering. We have a sacrificial lamb shank bone. We have beets and carrots.
oh
Um,
wow.
we have an egg for the round. Life goes round, and also part of the sacrifice and the and rebirth and giving. So
It's so
our
symbolic.
Seder, we it's all and each one has a prayer
Beautiful.
and a meaning as well. Let me see if I could find fast for you the picture because I really would love for you to see the cookies. Here's one I'm going to send you with all four cookies. I'm going to send.
I'm just trying to see if I missed one of them because all this looks so good.
So these are four of the cookies I made last year. And then the base of all of them is a good almond flour.
That's great. I want to start learning how to
And that's
cook
not
that.
because it's on sale a lot of places. I mean, for non-juice, I mean, Costco has great almond flour.
I want to start learning. I don't cook that, but I'd like to. So much healthier, like you said earlier.
It's still low calorie, so you have to, and it's still a process. So
That's
it
true.
is healthy.
I know. I'll trick my mind.
And one sec, I'm going to get you something else to show you.
Sure.
Okay, these are the slivered almonds I use. These are my Chutz ones, my non-kosher Passover
Oh,
ones.
those I've gotten for salads. I like
So
those.
I can flip them over, and that's how you'll see the picture, and hopefully we'll get the picture up soon.
Oh, look at that. They're
Beautiful.
on it.
Thank you
Great
so
job,
much.
fellas. Thank you.
Okay, so the bottom from my view, the bottom ones that aren't chocolate are the cookies that I was just describing, 5 ingredient.
Yum.
The ones next to the fingerprint, they're all like 5 or 6 ingredients. You
That's
see the
great.
difference? Now this it's the same base of the almond cookie, except I made them thumbprint and I put jelly in the middle on top. And the ones next to it are, oh, those were like not like, but you could get kosher or Passover like brown sugar and stuff. So it tasted like a gingerbread kind of cookie.
That sounds good.
So those were the 4 cookies I made last Passover.
I shouldn't have come on hungry. That
So
might have been a
I want
mistake.
to, before we get to anything else, discuss the importance of wines because we drink 4 cups of wine at our Seder.
Yes, and I have one right here on my table, and to honor you guys.
Right here. L'chaim,
So
to good
cheers.
life,
I am.
health, to happiness, to joining us at the America First Warehouse every Tuesday, all day for the best podcast and 7 days a week. I'm not there on Saturdays, but we have a great amount of entertainment coming your way, informative events.
Yes.
We have the leaders of the future of the grassroots common sense
Amen.
coming to America First Warehouse.
Thank you.
And really, people, for an experience, everybody is welcome. You don't have to be MAGA. That's the mistake people make. You just have to have common sense. If you
That's
care
right.
about your kids' education, if you care about local elections, today's a huge election day in Florida and Wisconsin, and we're going to learn a lot about what's going to be in 2026.
Yes, we are. And I want to say cheers to you in your kitchen, sharing your home with us, in your kitchen with us, and your traditions and your culture. We cheers to you.
I hope I'm helping out. So I like to start out. This is probably the biggest season for buying kosher wines, and for all of my Zionist friends, it's really a great way to support Israel right now. Because the best wines, the award-winning wines, many of them are coming from Israel, and many of them are coming from the areas that the Trump administration has worked so hard on preserving, mainly Judea, Samaria,
That's
up
awesome.
north. And I mean, this one happens to be American made in California, but this is a really good Pinot Grigio, and I challenge you to drink this one compared to any Italian one. I mean, everybody knows the
Challenge
Messiah.
accepted.
What?
Challenge accepted.
You got it. Here's I picked up 2 Italian ones right now. This one's a. This one is also. This one is made actually in Italy. This is a real Italian red.
But it's kosher.
Kosher for Passover. They're all OUP.
Amazing.
I only buy things, and I really, like I said, I don't want to mix up my Passover with my what we call chumetz or bread. So I'm trying to do this in a very, very
respectful way. Well, you're doing a great job because that
way
sounds a little
that
more
doesn't
challenging.
offend anybody, and that they understand that this my house is right now not kosher for Passover. But I mean, I just brought this from the supermarket, so I mean,
And it is
reality.
taken, so seriously. So my ex-husband and I brought our son to one of my friends. I went to many, but then as an adult, we went to our friend's house. They invited my son and my ex-husband and I to a Passover dinner. And it was funny because when we came in, my friend's mother was handing out yarmulkes. So my ex-husband looked at me like, do I put this on? Do I not? I didn't want to be disrespectful. He wore it because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, every man specifically at the table has to wear one, correct?
Well, if they're not Jewish, they don't have to, but most people do out of respect. Like when you see someone like Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump go to the Western Wall or John Voight, they put on a yarmulke.
Yes. So he
It is
did.
out of respect.
It was fluorescent pink from her sister's bar mitzvah, but he wore it. And then when they began to read, and learning how they read, it's backwards. Like there's so many things that are just so unique to me. Like when you're learning, and in an effort to keep my son quiet during that, to me, sacred time of reading, I took out his Cheerios, and that was a big, big, big no-no. And we were sent downstairs to that other kitchen. So, I learned even then that was, not allowed at a Passover dinner.
Well, you make your kids this, and I guarantee you, they're not going to miss those Cheerios.
Well, they would love that because if I buy a box of matzah in my house, it goes. I mean, we probably do it wrong because they put butter on it. I'm sure that's probably not the right way
That's
to
the
eat it.
best way to eat it. Traditional Jewish home has matzah with breakstone salted butter
Mm,
and eat that for breakfast.
yum. I could eat that too all day long. That's
So we actually do have, I actually have a book here. I do, like I said, and it's called The Kosher Experience, all about different wines and stuff. And in my house, we do a kosher wine tasting. We start with the whites, we go to the rosés and pinks, and then we end up with the Merlots, the Cabernet Sauvignons, all the different. And we try to make it. Here's a secret to religion. And if people did this more, we would have more faith, and it would also be more family oriented, which we desperately need in our country today.
yes, and more respected and valued.
Like you asked me before we started about Yom Kippur, and I said that's a fast day. But you know what? The dinner before and the break after are great meals. The breakfast after is a dairy. Kids eat ice cream sundaes and banana splits, and there's all kinds of delicious delicacies. And it's what you want to show your children. If you take the effort to teach them that it's fun, like you mentioned, my grandson and I made for Purim Humintashen,
I
and he
love
sat,
that.
he rolled the dough, and he cracked the eggs, and he wanted chocolate chip ones, so he put the chocolates in the middle.
And he'll
And
never forget that. I mean, I even sharing that
on
with me was
video,
beautiful. I loved seeing that. I love seeing a little guy with his grandma.
and he asked me already because they're coming here. What are we making for Passover?
Ah, that's awesome.
Well, we can't make challah and we can't make hamantash. What would you like to make? Chocolate.
Yeah, that's the kid favorite.
So you know what? Even if you go buy a chocolate mold
Oh
and have
yeah,
another kosher for Passover chocolate, there's an activity.
one of my favorites is jelly rings.
We have
Mm.
the 1 second. Oh wait, I just
See,
moved
she's.
it.
I'm going to her house next week. I don't know. I didn't. She didn't. I'm going to just show up.
1 second.
It's so funny, Cindy, because I find it to be such a comfort food. Um,
Are you talking about these things?
I am. Oh my God, I love
These
them.
frozen, eat these frozen with chocolate ice cream.
Oh, I just want to go out and out and buy those right now. Um, I forgot what I was going to say, but those you threw me off with jelly rings. I'm lost now.
We're more of the marshmallow family, but we do have a whole crew coming here.
I like them
But
both.
the truth is, no one starves. Whoever says they can't eat, they get belly aches or whatever, nobody has starved.
Nope,
Go take a walk. This year, the holidays are on the weekend, so you have the whole Chalamoy, the week that's, non-observant as much food-wise it is, but you can go do things, go take a walk.
that's awesome. And you basically celebrate throughout the month of April, right? You kind of take the whole month
And
of.
the preparation is a lot,
That's what
so
it is.
that is it. And then putting everything away and stuff like that. But if you ask Jews who observe what their two favorite holidays are, it's Passover and it's Sukkot in October, which is right after Yom Kippur, which is also 8 days and a lot of preparation.
It is. I remember when you were doing that.
Despite that, it's also the best.
It
It's
is.
it's family time. It's an escape from everything. It's coming back to your roots. For me, being a proud Jew, I'm a proud Jew every day, but it's just fun. And for me, like I said, I get the extra, I don't do it for the extra mitzvah. I do it because I want to, but I have people in my home that one of them literally says to me, if I didn't have your house for both Seder's, I'd have
Oh,
nowhere to go.
that's beautiful, Cindy. And in a time right now where Israel's been in such the spotlight, with a lot of negative stuff happening since the war, it's really nice to bring this out so people see the beauty and traditions of what's happening, and it's not negative. That we could show the beauty of your holiday, what you're about to do, in the weeks coming. During Passover, we're about to celebrate Easter. It is a good time to bring it back to family and your roots, like you said, because everyone's crazy busy running around, and these moments and these traditions are what kind of ground you back to your roots. And like I said earlier, my kids are grown now. My littlest is 16, but I make them color Easter eggs with me every year because I just want to have something, and silly things that we do at Christmas. We bake Jesus a birthday cake every year, which sounds silly, but it's like that's the meaning of Christmas, and I still do that with my children to this day. So those things are so so important and beautiful to watch and see you
Well, I
doing.
have probably about 6 different Seder plates, but the one that I use the most is my grandmother and grandfather's. That was a wedding gift to them,
Wow.
probably like
I was gonna say, do you know what date that's from?
years ago.
How many?
Yeah, I know. 90 years ago,
Wow,
probably.
wow, wow.
And especially since I have my mother, she wants to use it.
That's awesome. Which we
'Cause,
got to meet her last week. Nice to meet your mom last week. So now will she how does that does she come over and cook with you? Do you take the reins now from her? Like how does
basically we passed the baton to me. My mother
Yeah,
did her years and years and years and doing it, and now she just moves into my house.
it's your turn. Okay. I
I'm
get
gonna
it.
cook a little bit. I know she makes a really good kosher for Passover chicken franchise with chicken cutlets and
Yum.
yeah, and she'll make I'm gonna make a sauteed liver and onion dish with her that we like, and I'm
And
gonna do that with
your
chopped
grandson
liver.
will be coming, right? So you'll have three generations, four generations.
Generations,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it's very special. And it's a time really to reflect. It's a time to be happy. I mean, last year my whole tablescape was the hostages and yellow ribbons. I'm not doing it this year because I'm at the point where I feel I'm on I have to do the next step. We're not accomplishing anything. The
Yeah.
fact that we live in 2025 and that we don't have our hostages home
I
is
can't
sick.
believe it. I
And it doesn't matter who's in office.
I know. But we're dealing with people who are not, normal people there. You can't negotiate with terrorists. They have one agenda. It is completely mind-boggling what's going on right now. It's crazy, but being able to carry on these traditions though and show the positive side, I think, is very necessary. And I love that you're sharing that with us. So now take us through real quick, if you can. When you celebrate Passover, I know I learned something new a couple of years ago. My friend's husband goes to shul every day. I didn't know what shul was. I was only really privy to temple that I've gone
That's
to.
synagogue.
So now, I guess there's both, right? You can go to shul and it's different than temple on the weekend.
No,
Is
it's
that
the same thing. Well, he goes probably in the morning and the afternoon because
he does?
Orthodox man. An Orthodox
Yep.
woman doesn't do that. But we do have services the first 2 days and the last 2 days.
Temple. Okay. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to head off on this now because I'm going to have to go get ready for
That's
the
okay. This was a special edition. We don't have to do the full hour, but I did want to
Actually,
say,
it is the full hour.
is it the full hour? We're almost done, right?
Yeah, we went longer today, but that's good anyway. I'm glad we flew
Oh,
by.
I'm looking at something else.
I'm glad we flew by.
It did.
And anybody who has any questions could feel free to reach out to the America First Warehouse to reach out to me. If you do want those cookie recipes, I will give them as well as anything else from briskets to soup to a potato kugel to any of the salads that I
I love
mentioned,
that. Why don't you pick one?
salad dressings.
Pick your favorite recipe even what you just made. We'll post that, and we could say if you want further, you will post it out there. Let people see, try
Maybe
out.
I'll do the cookies. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do the cookies. You know what? I'm going to do a brisket because that's
Ooh,
always the most asked question.
I actually would love that because I've never made one, and I would like to.
The easiest thing in the world to do.
I've made everything else.
To do a good brisket, you've got to cook it low and slow.
Long, right? And long. It's slow.
Right.
Yeah,
And we don't like so much dry rub as much as we like it in the gravy.
I like it in the gravy too. I'm so hungry from this episode. I'm ready to
And
like
you
go
can
eat.
roast vegetables with it. It's delicious. Roasted parsnips and turnips and carrots and potatoes. It's
Sounds
unbelievable.
excellent. I can't wait to see pictures.
Carrots, sweet potatoes,
That's awesome. So what I was going to say before, and you stepped away from the camera, was I find Jewish food to be so comforting. So like a month or two ago, I had two pulled, and I went right to the Real Deli by me in Plainview on my way home, and I got all my soups, and I got their rice pudding and things that are my favorites from there. I don't get to go very often these days, but I find it to be very comforting food, and I really do enjoy it. So this was nice to see new things, and I'll probably be hitting you up for some recipes since I can talk to you personally. So I'm probably be asking you more details. But
Anytime, and we could do this more often. We have holidays all the time. We have Shabbos every Friday. We have a very special challah right after Passover called the uh, it's a key challah. It's shaped in a key. It's a panasa challah. It's shlisel challah, and it's a very special one because we celebrate the freshness of the bread, the freshness of the yeast,
oh,
the
I love
fresh
that.
of the flour, and really for good health, and it's good really for opening the doors for making a lot of money and having everything you want.
That's beautiful. And we can all use some of that, right? Some kind of
Always,
blessings.
always. By the way, before we close, I do want to thank Teresa, and I want to thank the team for doing this. This is the first time I've ever done this, and I don't have a studio. This is straight from me putting together some stuff. So I hope this was worthwhile and that your audience enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And I would like to come back next week if you guys want. I want to share with you stuff about patriotic products, and we're going to talk a little bit. We partnered since the inauguration with a great jewelry company, and now it's the spring and it's Memorial Weekend, and everybody's
Yes,
getting ready for the Memorial Day parades. And we want you to go there and shine in style.
absolutely. And yes, we will bring that to them. We'll have more samples here. We could talk about that, and we can even touch